What's going on, family? We are coming today. It's going to be a little bit serious. This combo that I need to address. We are coming off of the death, the murder of George Floyd up in Minneapolis. He was tragically suffocated to death for the whole world to see. And, without any regard for his life, really, the police officer who had his foot on his neck or his knee on his neck, didn't let up at one moment during the whole time. And, even with a lifeless body underneath him, he didn't feel like he needed to ever remove his knee from his neck. And that just goes to show how barbaric this man was. The people who were surrounding him as well, the police officers who helped hold him down, George Floyd down, and the police officer who was blocking the crowd from, saying anything, trying to say anything to the police officer and trying to keep the crowd at bay. None of them, not once, decided that they needed to say, hey, that's maybe enough. Like, lift your knee up, or, he's detained, let's put him in the vehicle. Nothing like that happened. So, unfortunately, he succumbed, to that pressure that was applied to his neck, and the whole world saw it, and the community was outraged. Not only the community in Minneapolis, but the whole world, everyone who saw it. And I gotta say, it's been a beautiful thing to see. There's been people of all races coming together for the cause and just being vocal about police brutality and a system that is stacked against black people and just, people of color in general. So it's been great to see. It's been great to see people uplift each other, and some of the things that have been coming out really is just people's distaste for a lot of the ways that people are showing their support. Some people have been protesting peacefully. Some people have been protesting in other ways, and quite honestly, and I'm going to say this with, everything I believe tells me that if there are people in a system and those people are corrupt and unjust and not going to play by the rules, and they're not going to treat people the way they need to be treated, they need to be removed from that institution. Sometimes it's a core problem. The people who make up those office buildings and those police departments and those all of those different substations, and any of the institutions that are, like I said, not playing by the rules, they gotta go. It's time now that people stand up for what's right. Black people have been asking for this since they were freed, and it's never been the way that it was supposed to be. I'll say this, like I've said before, the black people in this country built this country for free. Our ancestors' blood is this country is built on our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears, like literally. And if people can't figure that out and can't understand why people are upset, then they're never going to get it. They're not trying to get it. And again, if they're in these positions of power, they need to be removed from those positions of power by any means necessary. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And I just want y'all to look out for one another, really. Try to uplift each other. Try to come to an understanding. If you have friends who are of a different race, talk to each other, and figure out ways y'all can combine forces and strengthen communities, and really just lift people up. right now is really a tough time for the whole country, for the whole world. There have been people demonstrating across the whole world, which is amazing to see. Um, it's beautiful, and I just want y'all to really help each other out in this time because it's tough out there. If something isn't done about it, and we're the ones who are who are responsible for this next generation, if we don't get it right now, then you know we don't we don't deserve to operate in the society that we have. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I said, I have a video for y'all today using the self-cut system, and I'm gonna show y'all how I did my cut. Alright, so I start out by combing my hair here just to make sure it's a true feel to what my natural hair is like. I don't want it to be compact or anything like that, so I just comb it out and make sure I'm hitting all the angles right. Start out using the Andes T outliner here. It's a first guideline for me, and that will set the tone for the cut. You don't want to go too high on this, but you want to get it nice and even back there. I go ahead and transition to the Oster Model 10, and here I'm using the one guard for the Model 10 in the back. Try to get those lines as straight as you possibly can. And after the one, I transition to the 1.5 guard and just go a little bit higher, about a half an inch higher. Still, you don't want to go too high back there when you're doing your guidelines. You want to keep your taper fade low, as low as you possibly can. Try to get it straight back there. Here I made a mistake actually. I started doing the scooping motion with the 2 guard, but I usually don't do it with the Oster Model 10. So you guys will see it took me a while to kind of even to fade those lines out back there, but I did have to go back in a couple times on it. Right here, I'm using the close 0 to fade out that first guideline. Trying to keep it straight and make sure I'm not going too high on those. And then I transition here to the 1/16 guard, and that's a closed 1/16 to fade out the next line. Switch here to a closed 1, and that'll fade out the next line. Here I'm using the open 2, or closed 2 here. Sorry, closed 2, and I'm going with the grain, just trying to smooth it out before I start the fade on that dark line. And then I go ahead and open it up, and this is what I should have done, but I used the Oster Model 10 and kind of went a little bit too high, so it gave me some troubles, and that's why I had to get a light, because it was tough to fade that line out back there. And so I switched back to the 1 guard here. And just trying to fade those lines out a little bit better. Back to the open 2, and really, like I said, it just gave me such a tough time back there because I had already gone a little bit too high with the clippers that are not usually used for fading. So it took some work, but I think I was able to pull it through. And so back and forth, really between the 2 guard and the 1 guard is what I had to do. And now I am lining up the back sides. using the Andy's T outliner. The self-cut system is great for getting the back of your hair. I would normally not be able to grab my ear and hold it down with my other hand if I was using a mirror, so definitely recommend using the self-cut system. Cleaning up that other side back there, and this isn't the best angle, but it works. Here I am making a guideline for my sides using the Andy's T outliner. I start with the bald line, and then I switch to the Oster Fast Feeds, and I'm using the open 1 here, or sorry, open 0. I start with a closed 0, and then I switch to an open 0. And normally I would just do one side and then do the other, but I just tried to do both of them at the same time so I wouldn't have to keep switching cards. Next time I'll probably just do one and then the other like I normally do. Here I opened up to an open 2. I'm just fading out those sides, brushing it down. Always make sure you're brushing after while you're fading, just to make sure your hair is laying down and you can see what you're doing. Close it up a little bit here. Close 2, and then I just open it, close it. Sometimes I go with the grain, sometimes I go against it. And then I use the open 2 to go around the ear, and I also use the closed 2 to go around the ear. And if you fade the back and the sides right, you don't have to do too much behind the ear, but you will have to lay your ear down and fade behind your ear a little bit too, which I don't think I showed here, but I'll make sure I get that next time. Alright, here I'm using mousse to lay down my hair in the front. I'm just wanting to lay it down so that I can get a true look for what my hair will look like once it's laid down. Because if I try to line it up in the front when it's not laid down, once I wash my hair or I wet it, like it will look longer in some places and it won't be even. So I just learned this trick to lay it down with some mousse and throw the do-rag on. And I usually do that while I line up my beard and all that. My fiance came in here trying to bug me while I'm cutting my hair. Here I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some shaving cream. Make sure my face is moist when I do this shave. I got this straight razor from Sally, but just learning on my own. I learned how to not cut myself with this thing, but not before cutting myself. Be careful. I wouldn't recommend using it unless you're a licensed barber or you have experience, but I'll line it up and then obviously get both sides. And I normally will trim my beard up before I do the beard lineup, but here I did it a little backwards. I don't know why. But also, another thing I did backwards was I usually go high to low, but this time I went low to high, and actually it came out better. So I might continue to do it that way, starting out with the low guard and then going higher. just fading out that line there for the beard, using the 0 there at the top. So I started with an open 0, and then switched to an open 1, and then close it to fade out that top line. All right, and now that my mousse has laid my hair down, I should be able to do my lineup, and it's not looking too bad. I was getting nervous because at first, like I said, I went too high in the back just because I wasn't using my fading clippers. The ones that I usually use for the fade is the model. I used the Oster Fast Feed, and I was using the Model 10, so I kind of messed up and had to go back and fix it. But it ended up coming out all right, and I used the Andes T outliner obviously for my lineup there, and that's it. Very happy with the self-cut system. It works really well. I recommend getting it if you can. It'll take your haircuts to the next level as opposed to using the handheld mirror. Thank you for watching my video, y'all. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time.